What is going on? I'm zmoT, and we are now in a new task force. I've made the move. Junior 9 filled up, so I've moved down to Infant 9. They've got 2 spots available, so I figured I would plug this task force today, XP 32 to XP 40, and all of that good stuff. So what I'm going to do today is I've got a couple of things we're going to go over. As promised, most importantly, most excitedly, we have the old-fashioned teleprompter, tell us caster, tell us something or other, drawing device available. So I'm going to be doing a couple base reviews. I've got 3 of them loaded up. I'm going to do it as follows. I'm going to do stages 1 and 2 of DrT, do a base review, do 3 and 4, do a base review, do 5 and 6, do a base review, and then do 7. Hopefully that's not too much. We'll see. This is the first time. Please give me lots of feedback. What I'm going to do is take anyone who shares their link in this video and use them in the draw for the next video. Now, little bit of confusion here. Obviously, the draw has already happened. I remember as a kid when they used to say that they figured out the order off stage in Wheel of Fortune and been like, well, that's a bunch of baloney because the person on the left always goes first. But that obviously was my childlike brain not computing the fact that they put them left to right based on the order off stage. But I assure you, I've done a draw. I put all of the names in and drew the bases, and so I took screenshots of the bases just to avoid having to move around and exit to my email and or to my Dropbox or whatever it might be. We're just going to, I took screenshots, which will be a little bit not as great because obviously I can't click on the ranges or zoom in or out or things like that. So please let me know what you think about how it looks as we get into our first base review. Stages 1 and 2 are now down. I put them in order. I don't even know which ones are going to come up first in what order. These aren't like best to worst or anything like that. This is just what was drawn first is going to be on the screen first. So without further ado, let's bring up our first base, shall we? So this is our first base. Now what we're going to look at, this is Dell Leprosy, perhaps? The Leprosy Island where they send the leapers, perhaps? That's not a thing anymore, thankfully. So what we're going to look at is, this is a level 61 base. They've got HQ 22. That is a good thing. Now, over here, this is my first problem with this base. We're looking at, I think those are level 17, level 17 landing crafts. Please upgrade your landing crafts. You can get more troops in them, and as a result, you will get better trophies, and you will be able to raid much, much easier. So please upgrade your landing crafts. That they should be level 22, or at least on their way to 22. I like the fact that this is a front-loaded base. You've got a couple of your, what are these things called? Rocket launchers spread out. Nice coverage. Definitely looks like they will be covering beach, which is good. Now, Grappler obviously also covering beach, also good. This shock launcher back here, I don't think it's going to be doing anything for you. I think that it should probably be moved up somewhere into this neighborhood. I like to see shock launchers nice and wide. Now, this whole thing right in here is one shock. Let's just change colors here so we can talk in a slightly different tone. This is all one shock, all of this stuff, which I'm not a huge fan of. The fact that you can shock the Flotsam, the microwaver, the shock launcher, and the rocket launcher, that's a lot of things to shock in one. So I spread them out a little bit. The mines, I can see every single one of your mines. Place them behind the sniper towers in about here. You can place them in behind a lot of things. There's so many ways to hide mines. If you're not sure, please reach out to me. But, for example, having a residence up front, I would move perhaps a wood storage. Wood storage hides mines behind the chimney very, very well. Small details. Now you'll notice there's nice straight lines in here as well. I don't like straight lines much at all. I like to have some big buildings like an armory or a radar, or even like my favorite is actually whatever this is called, the iron mine, I think. I like to have it right up front because it breaks up the lines a little bit. But overall, not a bad base. I think you probably get a good amount of intel and or diamonds just by having 3 prototypes out. You're basically guaranteed to have a whole bunch of that sort of stuff. Now, my biggest pet peeve about this base, besides the landing crafts, of course, is that you have 2 ice statues. Now, 2 ice statues at 590 VP, realistically, you're not going to get rated more than, say, 5 times at that VP, maybe 6 per day, and your ice statues aren't going to contribute to your number of intel or diamonds or defends, really, because A, they're not boosted, B, there's only 2 of them. So, I mean, I think you'd be better off switching those out either for more greens or more purples. Like, you don't have a lot of GBE by the looks of things. So, different playstyles, obviously, but I think that you would be better off not having the ice at this VP. If your VP was higher, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But at this VP, you're not going to get rated all that often, anyways. So, but statues are a whole different thing. I'm not going to talk too much about them in this review. That's base number 1. I will share the links to these bases in the comments below. So please let me know what you would have done differently as well. Make sure you reference the name. And let's get into stage 3, trying to keep things going. And again, please, this is not something I do terribly often or ever. So I'm trying to keep it troop agnostic, I think is the word, so that I'm not going to talk just about Zookas, because chances of you being rated by Zookas are pretty slim. So we're going to talk about just generic troops and basic problems with your base. Now, realistically, they're not going to get a heck of a lot of defends no matter what you do, unless you're having like 4 boosted ice, or even 2 boosted ice right now in this current tribe cycle is doing very, very well. So all I'm going to be doing is talking about simple improvements that people can make to increase the number of diamonds they get, increase the number of intel they get, stuff like that. I mean, to say I can build you a base that's not going to be beat is a complete lie. There's no one out there that can do that. I can try and increase things based on some basic details, but that's about it. So, if you have ways that I will also be looking at the comments, and maybe I'll share the best comment for each base. And I'm trying not to dwell on the statues. Landing crafts, definitely, but statues, there are different playstyles, and I think you'd be better off changing your statues. But we're not going to flog that dead horse if that, I love cliches. But I'm on the fence about cliches as well. But dad joke. Let's go. Come on. Let's shock here and here and here and medkits. And stage 4 should be fairly straightforward. We didn't shock the mortar, and we should have, so we're going to lose some troops. But today's focus is not on attacking, it's on defending. So, with that done, stage 3 and 4 are done, so let's get our second base up. Come on, takes a second. Thacker. I'm not sure how to say your name either. Now, this is a lower level base. I think this is an HQ21. I should have checked. Now, boats obviously are not loaded, does not have unlimited troops or endless reserves or instant training or whatever they call it these days, so not a big deal. Sculpture is good. So this base looks fairly straightforward. It's pretty good. I think that this rocket launcher could go out a tile or two. Like this shock over here is either impossible or a difficult shock, whereas this shock right here is a fairly straightforward shock. So if you move your rocket launcher out just a touch, you'll get a little bit harder, and you'll increase the number of shocks people have to do. Same thing with this rocket launcher right here. You can shock right like this. If you move it back a tile or so, you can make it so that shock is not possible or is far more difficult. Let's see what else we've got going on. Again, straight lines. Please, please. Throw your iron mine right up here. The iron mine can hide 3 mines behind it. So just to make troops go around it. I mean, obviously, if you're not worried about warriors, if you're not worried about heavy zooka, if you're just worried about tank medic or scorcher tank or something like that, you don't worry about it too much. But for me, I find that my biggest number of defense and biggest number of intel come from warrior attacks. Maybe you're not getting warrior attacks at this VP. Your VP is quite average for your XP level. Your statues are pretty. I like them. Purple and reds all the way. Looks like you've boosted your resource reward statue. You're going to get far, far more resources that way than having green and blue statues. Like it a lot. Obviously, second Troop Health Guardian. Not a huge fan of that, but whatever works for you, do your thing. Again, mines. Lots and lots of visible mines. Even if you just move this one over like one tile behind the statue, statues hide mines very, very well. Boom cannons, your boom cannon will hide that mine when it gets upgraded a little bit more, so that is not a problem whatsoever. I like the fact that you've got your boom cannon off of the headquarters by 1 square. That means you probably have a mine hidden behind there. I'm gonna guess. Machine guns also 1 square off, which is good because that way the warriors are outside their blind spot. Shock launcher against the headquarters. Not a huge fan of that, just because you're going to have, people can park bullet right here, or park bullet right here, and that shock launcher is not going to need to be shocked, which is going to be a problem for you at a later date. Again, talking specifically about warriors. You've got your Beachmas tree out. Come on, man. It's September. Put the Beachmas tree away. That's personal preference. Just completely kidding about that. What else do we have? I think, and I like this. I like this base. It's good. Again, you've got rockets covering the beach, so there's no easy drops down here. You don't have any boom cannons up the front, and you don't have sniper towers up the front. So this is going to be, for tank medic players, they're going to be able to park in here and farm some GBE right in here and right all of this stuff without much difficulty. And or grenadiers are going to be able to do that as well. So I'd like to see a couple more defenses up front, even if they're just sniper towers, like over in here or something like that. But overall, a good base. You're at 430 VP. You're probably not getting rated a heck of a lot anyways, so not a bad base. Couple small issues that you might want to work on, might want to change. Get your boats upgraded. I think those can be upgraded. Don't know. Can't click on things. Not sure if I can maybe record these and put them together in batches so I can zoom around and stuff like that. But again, feedback on these sorts of things would be appreciated. Let's carry on. I think we're moving along at a somewhat decent clip. Trying to keep this video in that sweet spot where it's not 57 hours long. Ideally, we keep it under 20 if possible. I don't really think that's possible unless I have absolutely zero fails. Also, let me know what you think about the format as far as when we're doing the reviews, stages 4, or 2, 4, and 6. I think, because that way stage 7 is kind of a thing on its own, was my general feeling. So that way we can do stage 7 after the reviews and or go over some final details as opposed to having the last review at the end and then me ending the video and forgetting, oh yeah, I meant to talk about something. Medkits for days, pretty easy stage 5, should go down without all that many losses. Whew, lots of speedy talking today, lots and lots of speedy talking today, indeed. My goodness. I did clear the lines off the screen. Yes, I did. That's really embarrassing when I carry on attacking and there's like red lines circling random bases. And look at this. This is the easiest stage 6 I can remember on record. Only one shock of rocket launchers. So if you're a lower level, please try your best to get stage 5 down, because stage 6 is something you can take down. Basically, if you can take down stage 5, you can take down stage 6. I probably should have cleared at least one more boom mine, but I'm hoping that they will avoid that by moving my flare over just ever so slightly. I'm going to use only one smoke at the end, which might be a bad idea, but we're trying to make it as easy to copy as possible on this one for those low-level players. And just a reminder, stage 6 gives you a free crystal. You want to beat stage 6. Stage 5, not all that important. Stage 6 is very, very important. You get that free crystal, and those crystals will help your statues get better and better and better. Let's see what we get for rewards. Nope, just a standard crystal and 2 frags. Let's move right along to our third base review. We're at 15 minutes. It's possible. Now this base, he's at 1266 VP, pushing pretty well. Congrats, Mr. Turtle, I think your name is. So let's have a look. First up, again, same sort of thing. We've got a couple boats over here. Nope, those are the wrong ones. We've got a couple boats over here that are, looks like they're gunboat, level 21. Want to upgrade these as, I'm guessing that maybe with the medics we've got tanks or grenadiers, I'm guessing. So maybe don't need those boats upgraded, but for operation attacks, you want to get that upgraded just to get an extra zooka. We've got rocket launchers covering beach, good. We've got enough gap between them that they have to be dealt with separately, also good. I personally would move the boom mines either forward to be hidden, at least one of them to be hidden by the rocket launcher, or potentially away from a boom cannon. See, the thing is, someone's either going to barrage a rocket launcher, which is going to remove all of these boom mines, or potentially barrage a boom cannon, which is going to potentially hit one of these. This one specifically over here is pretty close to this boom cannon, so I just don't like the fact that they're visible and they're right next. I would throw a barrage right here, which is going to remove probably the boom cannon and two boom mines. Again, not huge, but with this base, all your mines are very visible, and I would probably throw a barrage on this rocket launcher, which would get rid of, again, the boom mines. So just to move them, the fact that all of your boom mines are in one area is a good thing in some ways, but it's also a bad thing because you're going to end up losing all bunches of them. Shock launchers are very, very far back. I would probably have them moved forward to an extent, because all of your boom cannons here are not protected by shock launchers at all. So Tank Medic could potentially come in here and shock all 3 boom cannons at the same time. That looks like it's a possible shock. Maybe, maybe not. But this is a very non-standard base, so the fact that it is non-standard and you have things very spread out, I like the fact that your flamethrower is covering the shield gen. That is good. Rocket launcher at the back, I like that as well. Now, again, the fact that your machine gun is upgrading and not your landing crafts, not a full offensive style, but you do have all offensive statues, so those two things sort of are contrary to one another. What else do we have in the happenings? The base is not symmetrical, which kind of bugs me a little bit, but not symmetrical actually also helps at times. Realistically, you've got your boom cannon over here and your cannons over here, so at least they're offsetting one another. Like a tank medic player isn't going to go right because, actually, you know what? You've got 2 cannons, 3 cannons. The fact that this is not symmetrical is that if a tank medic player is going to go left because you've got a boom cannon over here and not over here. So what I would do is I would hide a doom cannon back in here because you're already saying go left, and then by hiding something back in here where there's no reason for a defense to be, you can pick up quite a few extra intel and or diamonds. But overall, all 3 have been good bases, nothing drastically wrong. I like this base, especially just because it's not a base that I've come across or seen or attacked. You've got 1 fewer. Your boom cannon is close to the headquarters there, but this boom cannon, again, with forcing people left, this boom cannon does not range over in here. So people are definitely going to go left, and if this was even closer to the headquarters, then it would be able to attack the tanks on this side of the core. They'd have to deal with it. Obviously, for example, if they go right, this one can pick off tanks, whereas this one can't. Hopefully that makes sense. For warriors, there's not a lot of damage by the core. Someone, realistically, could come in and park, I would park bullet right here and or right here. That's why I don't like shock launchers next to the core. I don't know how many people are hitting your base with warriors, or if people are even aware to park bullet in blind spots of shock launchers. If you have any questions about that, anyone who's watching, please let me know. But that's it. That's all for that base. Let's, as I have to reload Boom Beach in the background, you can probably hear that. Maybe should have audio turned off. Let me know in the comments. But let's get on with the things. That is all of the base reviews I have to do. If you're just here for the base reviews, maybe you want to sign out. But let's move along to stage 7. As we're just gone over the 20-minute mark, so not going to make it to that sort. No scout. We're just going to rush in and attack as per my standard MO. I'm going to drop an artillery there just because anytime you can, you should. Dropping 3 artillery is going to do just as much damage to the core as actually dropping an artillery on the core a lot of the times. And you're going to get your GBU back. So I'm going to walk over into here, hoping that gets me away from the mines. My flare was a little bit late, but not so late that we're not going to get there. 2 smokes at the end. Battle orders. No rocket launchers. So if you can beat stage 5, you can probably maybe beat stage 6 just by walking to the right. Like, there's only 1 shock here. And this is the easiest stage 7 I think I've ever seen. 1 shock stage 7. You don't even need to use smoke. Just come to the right-hand side. So very, very easy stage 7. Just come over in here with, like, rifles, Zooka medic, or grenadiers, or rainmakers. Oh, I should have totally used rainmakers. Dumb on my part. I think I still have rainmakers. Anyways, let's just do a quick check. I bought them at the last possible second. So, nope, rainmakers are gone. So you probably don't have... Maybe you do. I think I do on my other account. Anyways, that is my base reviews. Trying to spice up Friday's videos. I'm going away for the weekend for my buddy's 40th birthday party. Buh. I love that. Buh. Anyways, someone out there has to have thought the same way as me when they're watching Wheel of Fortune as a kid. Come on, big money. That's all I got. Please let me know what you think about the format, what you think about the thumbnail, what you think about the attacks, and don't forget, share your bases down below. If you have questions on how to do that, please ask. Otherwise, that's it for me. I'm zmoT. Thank you for coming in. So many things at once. Peace.